The Green's a bit of a dreamer. But don't worry, she wouldn't dream of changing. An all-new series with special guest stars.
You've landed your fish then?
Put it this way, he's sniffing the bait.
Now that's our Linda.
Top girl.
Linda Green, coming soon on BBC One.
Oh, grand. Is that you home, son?
Did you have yourself a grand day, Stuart?
You putting the kettle on, son? A cup of tea would be grand.
What a grand idea, John.
If your kids go away to college and they want to watch their own TV, they need to have a TV licence. If they're caught without one, they could face a fine of up to £1,000. And if they do get a fine, who'll end up paying for it?
That'll need clearing up.
Make sure you do a grand job.
Phone 0845 602 7777 to buy a TV licence now.
I came from the fourth as one of three, but out of the seven, you can only see me.
That was great.
When you say great, do you mean great in the sense that Winston Churchill was great? You know, a great leader for Great Britain in a time of great struggle.
And let's not forget Henry VIII, a truly great king.
And Charles Dickens, what a great writer.
Richard Branson.
Good, but is he great?
What about Alexander Graham Bell?
Yeah, what about Sir Isaac Newton? He's got to be up there.
Charles Darwin.
Robbie Williams. Diana.
David Beckham.
Jane Austen.
Lord Nelson died for his country.
And Elizabeth I, who was married to it.
Sir Paul McCartney.
No. Henry
You want to talk great? What about Alfred the Great?
Robbie Williams.
Henry VIII. Paul McCartney.
What do you know anyway?
Who is the greatest Briton of all time, and what makes them so great? Great Britain's The Great Debate, coming soon to BBC Two. Who will you vote for?
The horror awaits here on BBC One. Feel the chill after a late night look at the weather now with Michael Fish.
Hello, there's some very wet weather on the way, or even rather underway in many parts of the country. But we're not alone. It's been pretty wet in many other areas as well. But the real thing of interest is the northeastern corner of the country, where it looks as if it may well stay wet until into Monday, with as much as 100 millimetres in places, and that of course gives rise to local flooding. Here's the area most at risk, that northeastern slice from northeast England through indeed much of central and eastern Scotland. But as I said, they're not alone. Just look at this swirl of cloud here in the Mediterranean. That was hiding an area of low pressure, and all this angry looking cloud was giving some very heavy rain indeed. In fact, I got a sample of one or two rainfall records that we saw earlier on. For instance, in Morocco, 62 millimetres there just recently. The French Riviera, Nice, 96 millimetres in the last few days. When we move down to Menorca, again we pick up large totals of rain, about 30 millimetres. Into Corsica, a similar story, over 90 millimetres, and Italy too. Palermo 41 millimetres, and we finish with Croatia with again large totals of rain. And it looks as if that eastern part of the Mediterranean will remain unsettled, the low pressure lurking down there. Here we've got this weather front moving in from the west. It's going to grind to a halt, I think, eventually, and it's going to be affecting that northeastern corner of the country for some considerable time. In the south, new little areas of low pressure running across from time to time, so eventually it's going to be the south where the wet and windy weather is. It should be easing off later on in the north, but not so at the moment. This band of rain slowly but surely easing across from the west, bringing some pretty heavy rain to most parts of the country. Then it grinds to a halt across the northeast, and following along behind, somewhat clearer weather, although in that clearer weather there will be one or two showers. But for the rest of the night, for central and northern parts of Britain, take care on those roads. Some heavy rain and giving some spray and even some local flooding. This is where the front and the rain is going to be by the end of the night, and by that time parts of Northern Ireland and the far southwest should be beginning to clear up, get somewhat drier, just a few showers, and reasonably mild too in that southwestern corner, a chilly 7 degrees to end the night in the northeast. For Scotland and this eastern slice of England, it starts off dull, cold, wet and windy. Very gradually, I think, first of all in the East Midlands, then later on in southeast England and parts of East Anglia, it will get drier and brighter. Out to the west, it's a case of sunshine and showers, but for northeast England, right the way from Lincolnshire, right up across a good part of Scotland, it's going to remain cold, wet and windy all day. Best temperature about 11 degrees. A little bit better once it brightens up in the south at 14 or 15 degrees. Then a new area of low pressure moving in towards southern parts late on Sunday and into Monday. So it'll be the turn of southern Britain to get that wet and windy weather. Still some of that rain in the northeastern corner, some fog patches and then some sunshine, but wet and windy weather moving into the south. Then that low pressure heads across southern areas to give a lot of rain overnight, and the first part of Monday cold and windy with it. Eventually it moves out of the way to be followed by brighter conditions with showers, and it's a little bit quieter on Tuesday. Early fog and frost and then sunshine and showers. A very good night to you.
The BBC tries to ensure that its programmes don't treat people involved in them unfairly and don't give gratuitous offence. But if you have a complaint in these areas which you don't think the BBC can satisfy, there is an independent body you can approach. The Broadcasting Standards Commission considers complaints of unfair treatment and unwarranted infringement of privacy if the complaints come from the groups or individuals affected. It also considers complaints about violence, sexual conduct and taste and decency. The address to write to is 7 The Sanctuary, London, SW1P 3JS, or you can telephone 020 7808 1000 or visit their website at www.bsc.org.uk.
There is a very heavy police and army presence at this rally, and there are around 7,000 protesters.
This isn't just where I report from, it's where I live. It gives you the ability to see things from the inside. That's what I try to do on News 24.
It's not related to you.
You have to have a connection with the people whose lives you're reporting on.
There may be real trouble. They feel that they've been left completely off the agenda.
BBC News 24.
If you've got an appetite for rugby union, you need to taste it the BBC way.
Fantastic! What a piece of skill!
It's high energy.
Fair try.
Protein packed for extra kick.
Sensational! Magnificent.
Get your teeth into a mouth-watering new season on the BBC.
Extraordinary score.
Kicking off with round 1 of the European Rugby Cup, live tomorrow from 2:40 on BBC One. And that's just for starters.
Skeptical of ghosts? Think again now on BBC One. We're spending Friday night in Hell House.